Guys, this is going to be a very different episode than I normally do, and I did contemplate this episode for a while. It's not very often that I react to people talking about me and trying to call me out. But with this particular individual, who I am not going to name, the way he called me out was both hilarious and frightening, and only frightening because so many of his facts are wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, in this episode, I destroy a socialist. Let's get into it.
Issues of vibrators.
To make sure that we leave no ten unstone.
Did I hear that correctly? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Newsflash. I'm your host, Emilio. Thanks for tuning in. Now, just to give you some context, there was an individual on TikTok who decided to stitch one of my videos about the private security story that I did recently. If you want to know more about that story, please go to the link in the description. But I made a little short out of that episode, and that's been going around social media, and he decided to stitch that short, and this is what he had to say. Let's have a look. Oh, and by the way, please watch until the end. We really get some insight into the woke mind, and guys, when you think it can't get any worse, it does. Okay, here we go.
So that was Jose Emilio.
Okay, I just have to stop right away. He says that was Jose Emilio. We're not off to a good start in terms of reading. My name is Joe, okay, Joe. There's no S. Don't know where you got the S from.
Jose is an American, Texan American immigrant to South Africa, a colonizer.
I know, some of you are rolling your eyes so hard at that. These people say colonizer like it's some kind of insult, right? I'm not a colonizer. I've never colonized anything. Maybe my ancestors have, but that doesn't make me one. And this is typical woke thinking.
Emilio says in his video that our government is kneecapping us by stretching the police too wide, but it's a move they're making. It's all planned.
Not exactly what I said. You're alluding to it, but not exactly. I was just, again, you guys got to watch that video that I made, the private security, and then maybe you'll understand a little bit better. But I was just trying to say that this attack on private security, right? There's some ridiculous regulations. Like, for example, they're not allowed to use rubber bullets. Just one example of the ridiculousness. Or they want to put trackers on guns, which that's a technology that doesn't exist. It just feels like the government is trying to kneecap the private sector. And I was just speculating because it is true that the SAPS is, well, in most cases, incompetent. We all have heard of the SAPS issues before and how there's not a lot of police vehicles. They are run thin, so to speak. So the private security sector comes in to fill in the void. Now you're trying to kneecap that sector. I'm not saying it's all planned, but I ask the question, to what end is this being done?
And putting restriction on security firms. And this is all being done so that they can enforce the Land Expropriation Act without any interference.
I insinuated that, yes.
Expropriation without compensation, he says. Now, Emilio,
Here's where it gets good, guys.
my American friend,
We're not friends.
that holds dual citizenship, as you say.
I do. I am American because I was born there, but I moved to South Africa and my mom is South African and I got the South African citizenship through descent through her.
Have you read the act?
Yes.
Have you truly read the act?
Yes.
Or you can ask your wife to read the act for you.
No need. I've read it.
There is compensation,
We'll get into that.
and you don't need the police.
Yeah, you do.
Because we,
Listen to this.
as a third world country as we have courts, real courts.
Is he serious?
I'm sorry. I can't even. I can't even keep a straight face when he says that. Real courts. We'll get into that.
Not like in America, where the courts listen to executive orders from the orange man. Real courts.
Real courts have to do that. Courts here listen to executive orders given by Cyril Ramaphosa. It's no different. Just when he signed in Bella Act or Expropriation Act, they're gonna listen. So that's like a stupid argument, but anyway.
That will listen to the people's cases.
Okay, I think this is a good time to intervene right here. He says real courts. Really? Real courts? Real courts that will listen to people's cases? Yeah, they probably will listen, but the real question is, will they actually do something about it?
Not a chance.
I don't know where you live, but it doesn't feel like you really know what the South African courts are like. Are you talking about the same courts that don't have a room to hold proceedings? They have to conduct court under a tree. The same courts that time and time again delay justice? Just look at some of these examples of cases that have been delayed and delayed and delayed. Some of them for 15 years. And these are just a few. And I can find headline after headline after headline that tells a different story to what you're trying to imply, that the courts are slow and justice is delayed for many people in South Africa. Now, let's talk about the Expropriation Act. When it comes to the Expropriation Act, do you really think the courts are going to be fast and fair?
I highly, highly doubt it.
There's a lot of issues with the act itself. And yes, there is an option for compensation in the Expropriation Act, but you act like the part where it says expropriation without compensation isn't a problem. It's a huge problem, especially because, well, let's have a look at two things. Okay, now I'm not going to go through the whole act, obviously, but I just want to point out two things. The first thing is this part. It may be just and equitable for nil compensation to be paid where land is expropriated in the public interest, having regard to all relevant circumstances, including but not limited to. So there's a list of things that the government can expropriate for, but it's not limited to these things, which is very vague and very dangerous. And if you know the ANC, this gives them unprecedented power. But let's talk about the public interest part, because I know a lot of people like to talk about that part. But do you know what the public interest actually means according to this act? Now, I know some of you might think that public interest means, oh, well, that just means when they want to like expropriate land so that they can build roads or infrastructure or something like that. Not exactly. The Expropriation Act quietly introduces a dangerous shift in how the government can take your property. Traditionally, land could only be expropriated for public purpose, like buildings, roads, schools, or hospitals, infrastructure that directly benefits everyone. That is public purpose. But now the Act adds a separate and far broader justification, which is public interest. And under this new definition of public interest, it includes land reform and efforts to redress past racial discrimination, meaning the government can take land specifically to redistribute it based on race or historically disadvantaged, not because it's needed for public use. So I don't think you've read the Expropriation Act. Okay, I just want to interrupt for one quick second because I have an important announcement. I've been nominated as a finalist in the Free SA Young Leaders Awards under the media category. If you've been enjoying what I'm doing here on Newsflash, then please do me a solid. Go vote for me. Just click the first link in the description or the pinned comment. Every vote helps. Let's make this happen. And I've said this before, as long as the ANC is in power and they have this kind of power, it's super dangerous. Since when has the ANC ever done anything good for the people in recent years?
Not a damn thing.
But anyway, please bear with me. Believe it or not, it gets better.
If they don't like it. And if that happens, if that fails, there's another court, and we've got a judicial system.
Yes, one that has proven time and time again non-effective.
A real one.
I mean, of course, there are court cases that are successful, but when you're talking about land or you're talking about other types of cases, like, for example, politicians, they seem unaffected by this judicial system. As a matter of fact, the judicial system fails the South African people in this regard. Functional. Barely.
And as for the land expropriation without compensation.
Wait, guys, here it is. This is probably my second favorite part.
In America, there's something called eminent domain. You didn't mention that. America can do the exact same thing without compensation. Why didn't you mention that?
What?
Because I'd be lying. Just like you're lying right now. You want to accuse me of not reading the Expropriation Act, but you clearly haven't read the Fifth Amendment in the Bill of Rights. Let me educate you, sir. The Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution clearly states, "Nor shall any person be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation." Meaning, in the U.S., compensation is constitutionally required. Even if the government wants to take your land for public use, it has to pay just compensation. That's a firm legal protection. And as I just showed you, in South Africa, they've just added without compensation. That part, without compensation, does not exist anywhere in the American Constitution when it comes to property rights. I don't know who's been telling you that America expropriates without compensation, but whoever is telling you that is blatantly lying. And again, yes, it gets better.
Why didn't you? It's called eminent domain. Don't think because we're South Africans we're stupid.
No, just you.
You, sir, have no place to comment as an American on our business. This is our country.
Yeah, it's my country too. Again, I explained how I am South African as well, so.
Hold your back. Ask your wife to translate that.
There's no need for me to ask her. I already know what that means, and I'm sure you'll know what this means. Yo, puss, man.
You're an immigrant. Yeah. Not even a good one. Not even one we can embrace properly.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who like me.
Although we welcomed you with open arms. Okay? Then you go on and say,
Here we go, guys.
after the private security, what's going to happen next? Are they going to come for the private gun owners?
Yeah, it's a question I asked. It's a valid question too.
The private gun owners.
Oh, here we go, guys. This is just...
Wait for it. Drum roll, please.
In America, let me ask you this. From the beginning of this year till now, how many school shootings were there in America? How many? Because guns are free for all in America, isn't it?
I'm going to let him finish this next point and then get ready for a mic drop.
My high school kid, if he was in America, could own an automatic rifle, isn't it? Here, we don't allow that shit to go down. That's what you want. You and your kind want. You want to bring it over here. Your American mentality over here. That's not going to happen here. What did you read about or see or hear about any school shootings here? No, sir. No.
There is so much to unpack here. First, let's tackle his claim that guns are free for all in America. Are they not free for all in South Africa? You act like kids in South Africa don't have access to guns. Have you not heard of gangsterism in South Africa? Mitchell's Plain, for example, has a lot of kids that have guns. And while you might be correct to say that school shootings is a problem in the United States, I'll never deny that. And that maybe school shootings in South Africa are very rare. Be that as it may, there still are school shootings. And while kids in South Africa may not be shooting each other up in schools, they sure are dodging bullets in public playgrounds. I mean, do you really want to go there? Do you really want to compare gun violence in America to South Africa? Okay, let's go there. According to Gun Free South Africa, between July and September 2023, an average of 34 people were shot and killed each day, up from 31 per day in previous quarters. This equates to approximately 12,410 firearm-related deaths annually. Given South Africa's estimated population of around 60 million, this results in a firearm-related death rate of approximately 20.7 per 100,000 people. And in the US, by comparison, the United States had a firearm-related death rate of 13.7 per 100,000 people in 2023. Well, that's a massive difference. And if you want to talk about which country is more violent, well, South Africa doesn't just take the cake, it takes the cake and the dish that it's served on. Have a look at this stat. Look at that. South Africa is more dangerous than a freaking war zone. But let's also look at these stats. South Africa, national murder rate from 2022 to 2023, approximately 45 per 100,000 people, one of the highest globally. In the United States, the national murder rate in 2023, approximately 5.5 to 5.7 per 100,000 people. And this reflected a decline from previous years. Talk to me about gun violence. Futsek, man, we both live in a country where crime is rampant and it's quite a violent country. But you want to talk about kids dying? 3 children are murdered every day in South Africa. I'll let you do the math on that one. And don't get me started on this. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, you petty socialist.
You petty socialist.
You want to try and say that America has a gun problem or is somehow more violent than South Africa. You clearly have no idea what is going on in your own country, and maybe you should actually watch my content a little bit more. Speaking about my content, here's what he had to say about that.
And all of your videos, and I invite every single person watching this video, go onto this man's profile.
Thank you. Thank you for promoting my profile. I really appreciate it.
He supports the right wing only.
Ooh.
He supports the Freedom Front Plus?
That's a bit strong. I wouldn't say I support them. I didn't vote for them. I don't mind them. I like them. That's for sure. Support, a little bit strong, but sure.
He supports AfriForum et al.
Yeah, I'll support AfriForum. They're a great civil society organization.
And Cape Independence.
Yeah, I support Cape Independence too. I think it's a great idea. Anyway, he went on to ramble a little bit more. Nothing very important. And I'm sorry if some of you guys found that cringe and painful to watch. Trust me, I think it was more painful for me than it was for you. But here's the thing. I couldn't resist replying because, again, so many things of what he said is just blatantly wrong or a lie. And a lot of lefties will use his talking points. So at least now y'all can see the truth. And I want to make one thing clear, and I don't know if he's ever going to find this video, and if he does, well, great. But if you make a rebuttal to this video, I'm not going to give you any more airtime. I'm not going to even say anything. I've said everything I need to say to refute your claims. And unlike you, I presented screenshots and receipts. This guy did fuck all and just made himself look like a khat. Shame, man. This old bully is so lost. Anyways, no matter what he says to this video, he is a very proud socialist, and he'll probably just double down. But at least if you happen to stumble upon him, you know that he's talking cock. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this guy? And what do you think about lefties that have these same talking points? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? And also, please consider becoming a member to this channel. It really goes a long way to supporting me and helping me to produce content for you guys. There's a lot of exclusive perks, so please check out that join button at the bottom of this video. And if you can't become a member, that's okay. Please consider giving a super thanks or sasa thanks, as we call them on this channel. With all that being said, thanks for watching. Your Newsflash is in.
Here's something I wish I had before I was in my 30s. Phones can scan laundry tags. Picture of sticker. Picture. Swipe up. Laundry care. This would have been so helpful in my 20s.